What is up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this conversation. I'm going to try to make this as brief as possible because I've watched the clips multiple times and I'm extremely disturbed, but I'm not surprised. All right, so CNN has released footage from 2016 of Diddy assaulting Cassie in a hotel. And again, like I said, I'm disturbed, but I'm not surprised. To see the rage, you cannot hear any audio footage, but this monster is running in a hotel hallway in his towel. When she was looking like, at least she was trying to get away from him, it didn't look like these two were together. And then they showed some clips from the pleadings, which is the complaint that she filed via her legal team in court against him last year, where she said she tried to escape and he woke up and he was in a rage. And this is just one instance. She detailed so many different situations where, like I said, when I ran over things, I believed it. I wasn't one of these people, not that it matters, but I wasn't one of these people that was trying to dissect and, well, why did she stay so long and all of these different things like that. But clearly this is an incident where she was explaining in the legal documents, the complaint against him, that he settled within 24 hours or less, even though he did come out to deny everything and then settle. Okay. But she did say that there were a number of occasions, but this didn't look like one of those occasions when they were checking into a hotel together and he and she were going up to the room and he just went off in a rage on her and assaulted her. No, she was dressed and trying to get away from him and he woke up. This man was a monster. So this is clear proof that she tried to get away from this person. And she did a few times. And yeah, but listen, all these people that are trying to be these psychologists or psychiatrists and doctors and trying to analyze and just go through all of the... No, you can't do that. These situations are so complex, especially when let's just be clear. I know that men can be abused, but the likelihood of that happening, and not only the likelihood of it happening, but just the percentage of it happening is fairly small in comparison to men abusing women. But unfortunately, it happens so often that, yes, you do have situations where these women, they don't leave immediately. Some do, but it's not often. Because again, a lot of women, they're nurturers, they try to be understanding. And not only just that, they think about all of the so-called good things about this person and the memories of how good they treated them. And, well, this isn't that person because they love me. So they don't leave immediately because it's like, this is another person. They will literally dissect, and not even so much dissect, but they will do like the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde sort of situation where it's like, well, this is not the person that I'm with. This is someone else. And they will try to justify why they stay around, even if they do try to leave and attempt to leave, because clearly that was just one situation where she did try to leave. So the people that are out in defense of Diddy, listen, I believe he was like this when Tasha K interviewed that chick. Her name is, I believe, Gina. This was several years ago. Who came out and revealed all of these things about Diddy, and nobody really wanted to believe her, or they just was like, yeah, whatever, yeah, right. Or you were just there for the access and the money and you were living good and, like, oh my God. And in the comments, even though the majority of people in the comments, because I saw the clips on the Neighborhood Talk initially from CNN, the majority of the people in the comment section were like, oh yeah, he did it. But there were yet still some people that were like, well, she waited so long to get away. Why did she wait so long? Even seeing that footage, you still have people that's saying that. And that's why that stigma of the victims being victimized, not victimized, the villains being victimized and the victims being villainized will always be here, because there will always be people that will try to go to bat for the villain. We see that in the Martell Holt, Melody Rogers situation, not to compare the two, but I said this a number of times. I believe that Melody was being abused physically in that marriage, but in the public, on the cameras, for the television show and all the other things that they were doing business-wise, that was pretty much her doing it because he's just a trash bag, right? She was trying to build him up to be something that he really wasn't, giving him access to things that he doesn't deserve. I really wish none of us ever knew who he was, but I'm glad she got out of that situation. But I believe when she was in it, even if she's strong and she tried to fight back or stand up for herself, that's my point. It doesn't mean that it doesn't happen when no one is around, when no one's watching, behind closed doors. Women go through so much, and a lot of them, for the sake of the public eye, they will act as if, no, everything is fine. But if you look at the clips, and I'll put the link in the description box if you haven't seen it yet, you probably have. But the one clip where they show Diddy and Cassie, and I don't know if that was a Met Gala thing or whatever it was, but you could clearly see him telling her to smile. Rarely did you see her looking really happy with him. And a few times when she was putting on a smile or giggling a little bit, it did look forced. I didn't follow them like that, so it wasn't something that I was intently looking at. But I remember years ago looking at the Sandra Rose blog and seeing the images of them and things like that. And I never thought that she looked happy with him. It definitely looked convenient. But we didn't hear these types of things about him back then. We just heard about him being a dirty boss and not caring about his artists, not paying his artists, and all of those different things like that. And even the conspiracy theories surrounding Biggie and whatnot. But to see that footage, I was disturbed, but I was not surprised. But the other thing that I wanted to mention is that, how we have teachers and nurses and other professions, a few other professions where they are mandated to be mandatory reporters. Even myself being in the beauty industry years ago, I don't know, maybe it was about 5 or 6 years ago, they implemented, because as a licensed esthetician myself, we are required to take continuing education hours that we have to get in order to renew our licenses every 2 years. And I know at least in my state, they started adding these hours where we had to learn about things regarding DV. And you know what DV stands for. And if you have a client that is reaching out or sharing information or, telling a little bit about a relationship that they're in that is possibly, you know what, we've sort of become mandated reporters where we are required to report that stuff. So it's really something that I feel that with these hotels, having surveillance footage, I don't know who watches it. I don't know if someone actually sits and watches the conduct and the content that is on these videos. But if someone saw that back then, I feel like they should have been mandatory or mandated reporters. And hey, it's possible that it was reported, but because of who he was, people got paid off and it got swept under the rug. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of leaning towards B and not A A being those people are required to report abuse and violence and things like that, versus B, where it is, yeah, it was reported, but somehow it went away because of who he was and the type of money that he had, and he could just pay people off. So listen, guys, very disturbing footage. Again, I have the link in the description box if you want to watch it. And it wasn't something that I wanted to watch for the sake of, let me see what's happening. No, it really was just, to me, solidifying what I already believed about him. And I didn't watch it multiple times for the sake of studying it. It was almost like I was frozen and I didn't click off of it. It was, oh my God, it's so disturbing, but not shocking about him. He's done. He's finished. He just needs to stop trying to sneak back on social media to show pictures or video clips or whatever of his youngest child that I think he named Love, after what he renamed himself to be, which he is far from Love. But it's a wrap. Stick a fork in him. He is done. So he just needs to just go ahead, get off of social media, stop trying to change the narrative and think that the dust is settled and now you can sort of tippy toe back outside again. And no. and I don't know. Somebody, I don't know who it is, and it could be a multitude of bodies, I should say, that are like, no, he thinks that it's safe outside again. Let's go ahead and put a kibosh on that. Go ahead and release that footage. Roll that beautiful beam footage, I believe somebody said, and today was the day. So guys, you can let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye. Mistaken. Don't want to talk, don't want to see, don't want to feel. What is left?